Should probably open this with like the Sorting Hat song, but I don't remember it and I'm too lazy to look it up.
Yeah. Yeah. That could be the Sorting Hat. That's your Sorting Hat. Says Slytherin every time.
Well, yes. Okay, so we'll address that in a second. So, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. My partner Liz is joining me for this one, and this is something we kind of did for fun, just to pass the time, like while walking downtown.
And then we were at dinner and still doing it.
We were still doing this, and we just started taking characters from other franchises that aren't Harry Potter and sorting them into Hogwarts houses. Mm-hmm. And I decided this is something I think I actually kind of want to do as an occasional series, but since we started doing this together, I wanted to kick it off with you with a franchise that you knew enough of the characters to join me on. Because some of the ones...
do it for Doctor Who.
Yeah, some of the ones I plan to do in the future...
Oh, we should do Buffy, too.
Oh, Buffy's on the to-do list.
Oh,
Don't worry.
Good.
Don't worry. For right now, though, we're going to talk about the characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mm-hmm. Phase 1.
Phase 1.
Only.
So we'll probably mention other ones, too.
We might touch on other ones, but...
I'll probably get excited about someone from something else.
Possibly. But, like, if this goes over well, later on we'll deal with some of the characters that came in later. But for right now, so that this isn't an hour long, we're going to do Phase 1. So, I guess a little bit about us in terms of Harry Potter, which we're both fans of. So, I've mentioned it more than a few times. I'm a Slytherin.
I am... Okay, so I'm kind of... What I would say is like there should be a WTF house, because like where you don't quite fit into all of them. So whenever I take the test, I tend to get different answers. And so for a while I was saying I was a puffy Slitherclaw, but I'm probably just a like Huffleclaw. And because I've got the like cute like klutzy personality of the Hufflepuff, but I'm also very analytical and a librarian, so that's Ravenclaw. And I would probably, I've elected Ravenclaw as my house. That's what I would probably tell the Sorting Hat to put me into. But I have gotten Slytherin on quizzes before, and I've gotten Hufflepuff. But I feel most like akin to the Ravenclaw.
I mean, I think ultimately if the Sorting Hat had to make a call, that's where they would put you. Which I suppose brings out the big rule that we're going with this. We are not doing any sort of house mixing. We're not...
Yes.
We're not we will acknowledge when something is a tough call, and if it's...
And we'll say they should be in the WTF house.
Yes, but we're not doing like Slitherclaws or Griffin Puffs or whatever the different mix. We're not doing any of that. And so with that done, this is not going to be comprehensive of every single character that appeared in Phase 1. Because,
and I will probably not remember some of the villains. Well, a lot of them didn't make a big impression.
A lot of the villains I opted not even to include because, honestly, I mean, let's be completely frank. Most of the villains are just, especially in Phase 1, are just Slytherins. That's just what they are. Uh-huh. And most of them aren't that entertaining to talk about. I do have a couple of villains on here who I do think are
Loki,
interesting. Well, we'll get there. Okay, so
do your thing.
Let's get going. So, sorting the MCU characters into Hogwarts houses. So, let's start off with...
Oh, gosh. Okay, yeah. That's a hard one.
I wasn't actually going to start with him, even though he's top of the list. But let's start with characters from the first MCU movie, which is Iron Man. We won't start with Tony.
Okay, because I need to think on that.
We'll get to him. What do you think for Pepper Potts?
Oh. I'm gonna say Gryffindor, I guess, but she's got some Hufflepuff leanings.
She is. I think my inclination was Hufflepuff, but I think you might be right because only somebody as strong-willed as a Gryffindor could ever get Tony to even slightly listen to her. Because that's the thing. She doesn't just put up with him. she is actually able to like point him in at least point him in a direction and get him to listen to where he should be headed. So, and I feel like if she was more Huffle, that she'd be a little bit more enabling.
Yeah. She doesn't really enable him much, and yeah, she does definitely have her own will. She's a Gryffindor I really like, though, and like she has the good Gryffindor qualities of like, really just being supportive and loyal, but also having, ideals and motivations and working towards them.
So yeah, I think I'm comfortable with that one. So that's Pepper. What about Rhodey? What about War Machine?
I don't remember him very well, to be honest. What do you think of him? And then I'm thinking on it. Probably Gryffindor?
I don't know, because it certainly, if I'm going to compare him to Pepper, he is a lot more enabling, and he talks a decent game about pushing back on Tony. He doesn't actually stand up to him very much.
I haven't actually seen, especially in the first movie, because there were two different actors playing
it was
him.
It was Terrence Howard, and now it's oh God,
Don Cheadle.
Thank you. Wow.
So I don't remember, because I think the last time I saw the first movie was when it came out, which was 2008 or something? Yeah.
10 years ago.
So that's why I'm not remembering him very well. I'm thinking specifically because I'm guessing, and I actually do remember that like Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle had slightly different takes on the character, so I'm trying to go with first movie version. Yeah, and I guess I get a like Gryffindor reaction to him, but are you thinking more Hufflepuff?
I figure he's one of the two.
Yeah.
I guess if I were to make a call and if I were to come down somewhere, I feel like at the end of the day he is kind of just an orders follower.
So a Huffle.
I feel like he's a little bit more Huffle.
Which we're not saying that all Hufflepuffs are rule followers.
No, I mean,
because if you look at like Newt, he's not really.
No, he's absolutely not. I mean, that's the thing you need to realize. What we're doing here is that we are going to be going with what the prevalent stereotype of a Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Slytherin are.
Because you look at Luna and you're like,
yeah, Luna.
Okay, definitely. If there was ever a case for a WTF house,
Luna would
Harry
be it.
Potter,
Yeah,
like she and Neville would be like head boy and head girl of the WTF house.
So, like, if we say anything that makes people go, not all Huffles are like that, or not all Gryffindors, like, we acknowledge that, not trying to offend anybody, but, like, we are just trying to have fun with it. Go with us.
And you can certainly are free to disagree in the comments. Air your opinion.
There is going to be a war in the comment section over this video. I have no doubt. You know what? I had one more from the first film, but I think I'll skip it since you don't remember the film very well. So we got to talk about Tony. And Tony,
he's tricky.
I feel like Tony has a bit of everything except Hufflepuff.
Yeah. I'd say I'm gonna go with Ravenclaw because he's like super smart and like a lot of it revolves around that and his technology. He's definitely got some Slytherin in him. I would go either of those two, but I'm gonna take him for my house.
He does have a bit of Slytherin in him. I think I'm going to agree with you though, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that ultimately, what kind of makes a big difference for him in terms of whether or not I would put him in Slytherin is he can be very self-centered and self-serving. But part of that is willful ignorance. Once it is put in his face, the impact of the stuff that he does, he doesn't keep doing it.
Yes, and Ravenclaws can be very willfully ignorant. Too.
Yeah, well,
that's part of our house.
I think Ravenclaws sometimes potentially choose to not consider the impact of their actions because
the emotional impact of things.
They don't want to have to deal with that. They're busy with other stuff, and I think that does kind of fit Tony a bit.
Yeah.
So I think we'll chalk Tony up to Ravenclaw.
The second Avengers movie, he definitely feels very Ravenclaw-ish too.
Yeah.
The side he came down on Civil War, I could see Ravenclaw again against.
Okay. Now I'm only going to pull one character from the Incredible Hulk movie, and it is.
I haven't seen that.
Well, you don't have to because the Hulk also showed up in the Avengers, which is Phase 1.
Okay.
So now here's the big question: do we do Bruce Banner and the Hulk as one? Or do we separate them and do them as different people?
Oh.
Because I think Bruce...
I kind of want to do them both. Is like separate them.
Okay, because I think Bruce Banner is very Ravenclaw. I mean, like Science Bros with Tony was an immediate thing.
Science Bros.
Science Bros.
I love them both. They're like two of my favorite Avengers too.
Okay, so I mean,
they pretty much are my two favorite Avengers.
So are we comfortable with that, with putting Bruce as a Ravenclaw?
Yeah, let's rack up the Ravenclaw Avengers. Yeah.
So the question now becomes, what do we do with Hulk?
He's not cutting enough for Slytherin, but man, does he destroy stuff.
Oh, he really does.
Like, maybe he is a drunk Hufflepuff. That is what I think. I think that is what the Hulk is. Drunk Hufflepuff. There we go. Done.
I'm not sure that I agree with that, but I love it so much that I don't have the heart to argue with it.
What would you say then?
Like, part of me wants to say Gryffindor, but I just love the idea of drunk Hufflepuff too much. I'm just gonna...
Raging drunk Hufflepuff.
I'm recording that. That said, speaking of Gryffindors, let's start looking at some of the...
Captain America.
Well, no, we'll get to him. Some of the cast of Thor.
Oh, Thor. Yeah, Thor's
And we could start with Thor himself.
Yeah, I mean, he's Gryffindor.
Could you really ever make the argument that he's anything else?
No.
No,
you really can't.
Yeah, he's pretty clear cut. Now let's talk another very clear cut.
Loki. Slytherin to the max, and that's why they clash so wonderfully. It's the Gryffindor Slytherin clash.
I think Loki might very well be
the quintessential Slytherin.
Well, I would say
in the Marvel universe.
He might
Cinematic universe.
He might have competition from one other character, and we'll get to him. But he's definitely right up there. Like if you were to. If somebody knew the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
a sexy Slytherin too. He's got that like he wears green.
I was gonna say he looks good in green.
He's got Snape's hair. I mean, come on.
I do feel like if somebody knew the Marvel Cinematic Universe but didn't know Harry Potter, and they're like, "What are Slytherins like?" You would just go Loki, and kind of leave it at that.
Yeah.
A little bit tougher though. Odin.
Oh. Not Hufflepuff.
No, definitely not. My inclination is Gryffindor, but like a cooled Gryffindor. Like he's old enough that the fire is not what it was, but I think that's probably still the best fit.
Yeah, I mean, he could work for any of the other three houses. Yeah, I'll give it that to you because he's more like Thor than Loki, so Gryffindor in that regard would make sense, but he's got some, I don't know, I think I'm influenced by comic book Odin too, and he's a little Slytherin-esque more so in the comics.
That's true, he is. Restricting it to...
Cinematic universe?
Yeah, restricting to cinematic.
I'll give you Gryffindor.
Okay. What do we think about Jane Foster? Do you remember Jane Foster at all?
I remember Jane Foster. Oh, Natalie Portman, you so did not want to be in those movies.
No, I mean, at this point, like, you can really tell most of the people in these movies really love doing them, but in the earlier ones, there were a handful of people like, you really regret taking this job. She's one. Christopher Eccleston is another one.
What was he in?
He was the villain in the second Thor.
Gosh.
He did not like that job.
Out of that movie. And I don't regret sleeping through it. Yeah,
I mean, the easy call would be to say Ravenclaw because she's science-y.
Yeah.
Is that too simplified,
She might be
though?
Gryffindor, too. Yeah, they're boring Gryffindor couple. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get my true opinion?
Shots fired. Wow. Okay.
Gryffindor is... as a puffy Slitherclaw. Gryffindor is not really my house. I mean, yeah, I'd say... Yeah, let's throw her in Gryffindor. I don't really care.
I was going to say, you just don't want her in your house.
I mean, we'll take her, but...
Well, we'll
give her some... We'll make a science wing for her.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the supporting character, and I'm only going to mention him because he does show up again, that I think we would put in Ravenclaw. Eric Selvig, who's the older science-y guy who gets drunk with Thor.
Oh, he's super fun Ravenclaw.
Yeah, Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah. He's the fun uncle. He's Funkle.
You're crazy, uncle. You're crazy Ravenclaw uncle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's so much. Oh, I would rewatch the first Thor for that. Him and Kat Dennings. Kat Dennings is fun. She can be. Gosh, what is she? I don't even remember her character's name, but I really liked her, so we're gonna put her in too.
So, Kat Dennings.
Whatever her character's name is.
I honestly cannot remember either. She might be a Slytherin.
Yeah, I think she's a Slytherin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That feels right.
Yeah.
I mean, not the strongest Slytherin that I can think of, but I think if the hat was going to make a call, that's where she would land.
She would have fun in Slytherin.
Yeah.
She would not have fun in Gryffindor.
Okay, so let's talk about Captain America.
So Gryffindor.
He is, but here's the thing. Normally, you tend to roll your eyes at the Gryffindors. I feel like much like he is the idealized human being, like Steve Rogers, Captain America, is what you get when
Gryffindor goes right.
When all of the best possible elements of being a Gryffindor are boosted to their max and all of the weaknesses are dialed down to just a background noise, you get Steve Rogers.
And hey, I put Pepper in Gryffindor and I love Pepper. And it's funny because I did not really like Gwyneth Paltrow and most things until I saw her in the first Iron Man and I was like, I really like her in this role. I really like Pepper. What is going on? So Gryffindors know that me putting Pepper in your house is like a huge vote for you.
But yeah,
vote of confidence.
Steve Rogers absolutely is a Gryffindor.
I just don't love Steve Rogers and Captain America as much as everyone else on the planet. Like, I like him okay, but
it's okay to be wrong, sweetie.
He's a little too square for me. Yeah, I know. Everyone will yell at me in the comments, and that's fine. He just...
Well, I think it also, now that I think about it, I think it reinforces Tony's placement in Ravenclaw pretty well because it's that clash of their approaches that causes the difference because Steve is very, no, this is what's right, this is what's wrong, whereas Steve is, whereas Tony is a bit more... Well, no, because if we look at it and break it down and put it into component parts, we can come at it from another way that will work better. And Steve's just going, I don't care if that works better. It's wrong.
Tony could analyze for hours.
Yes, he could.
A good version of a Ravenclaw. Yeah, good Ravenclaw trait.
Okay, so that's Steve Rogers. Duh. Peggy Carter.
I love her. Peggy Carter.
It's not an easy call. I mean, again, natural inclination.
She's a mix of things.
She is. I don't think she's got a ton of Hufflepuff in her.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to find a lot of Hufflepuffs until we get to... Okay, can we just say the quintessential Hufflepuff that isn't in this phase?
Go ahead.
Peter Parker. He's my favorite Hufflepuff. He's so adorable. He's like he's just the cutest Huffle ever.
I think Peter is very much a Huffle, and we may, you know what?
I'd like smuggle myself into their dorm to hang out with Peter Parker.
Like, I'm not even gonna fault you for bringing him up, because I feel like with the Phase 1 characters, Huffles are gonna be underrepresented, and the ones that we've got so far are like, yeah, I guess. So yeah, that's fair play to have mentioned him. But coming back to Peggy, like, I don't think there's any Huffle in there. She can be a bit sly. But I mean, that's kind of the gig. She's a little bit of an espionage character, but she's also very much got the firm moral grounding.
I'm going to say Gryffindor for her.
I mean, that's my inclination. I think
But they are not a boring Gryffindor couple, because she is fun and I like her.
You know what she's
a pepper. What?
She's a Gryffindor working in a Slytherin job.
Yeah, pretty much. I need to watch more of that series too, Agent Carter. I liked the.
It's pretty good. I didn't love it the way a lot of people I know love it, but it's pretty solid. So this one's tough because I want to try and restrict the answer this time to how he was at this point in the franchise, and that's Bucky.
Oh,
because I feel like
first Captain America.
Just first Avenger, because I feel like we start talking Winter Soldier, the game changes.
Oh yeah. Can we talk about what are the Phase 1 movies? Because I want to clarify that.
Phase 1 films were Iron Man, Iron Man 2.
Okay, Iron Man 2. Okay, so we're gonna get to Black Widow. That means
yes.
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
Thor. Captain America. Avengers.
Okay, gotcha.
So, coming back to Bucky, original flavor Bucky.
I don't remember original flavor Bucky again. I also fell asleep during the first Captain America. Things honestly, I fell asleep during.
I think he might be a Huffle.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he stops being a Huff. I will give, if you are Bucky, you get to change houses after that drastic because, he ain't no Huffle anymore.
Well, he wasn't for a stretch, but then again, if you think about him in, say, Infinity War, where he's, been working to basically reclaim his own identity.
Okay, I guess he's going back to Huffle.
And if...
He had a fun, rip-roaring time as a Slytherin, though, during Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he was a good Slytherin.
So,
he and Loki. Oh, man.
So we'll put Bucky and Huffle. So
they needed to team up. If I had my way, I would have a Loki, Bucky as Winter Soldier team up, and they would never wash their hair, and it would be and cause all sorts of evil, and really kick off Tony and Steve a lot.
I feel like that is the gauge of evilness for Bucky. How greasy is his hair?
Yes.
Once he gets some shampoo in there, he's fine. Okay, so now let's start.
Well, he didn't wash it for 50 years, So.
It was a while there. Let's start talking some of the S.H.I.E.L.D. folks.
Okay.
So we can start with Natasha Black Widow.
Yeah. So very Slytherin. So much fun. Slytherin. Yeah,
she is very, very Slytherin, and she can be very self-serving. She does have a little bit more of a personal moral compass. And again, I'm not saying Slytherins are amoral, but I'm saying Slytherins are more often driven by what gets the best result, as opposed to what is the on principle best thing to do. So she does dip into that a little bit, but she absolutely goes about it in the most Slytherin way possible. Even when she decides she's going to do the quote unquote right thing, she's going to do it really Slytherin-y.
Yep. Yes.
That said, I do think there is someone who is more Slytherin than her, and I think gives Loki a little bit of a run for his money, and that's Nick Fury.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Fury is super Slytherin.
So BA, yeah.
and if Loki is the I'm out for me for myself version of Slytherin. Nick Fury is the I'm out to get the best final results Slytherin. So he's not out for himself, but he doesn't really care about the morals of any of this. His eye is only on what's the end result.
Can Samuel L. Jackson not be Slytherin? I'm wondering. I mean, I love him, so like he's my kind of Slytherin, but I mean, there's probably something. Maybe not in the Star Wars movies, but
no. But then again,
yeah.
Like,
sorry.
The prequels characters are such wooden blocks. They're honestly hard to categorize.
There's some people where I just, like, with Jane Foster, I just don't care. I'm like, you're not really, you didn't get the Hogwarts letter, okay? Like, you're too boring. You're basic.
Oh, that's a devastating insult. You're devastated right now. So, okay, so yeah. Nick,
and don't get me wrong, I love Natalie Portman in other roles, like, especially The Professional. I still need to see Black Swan, and V for Vendetta. Oh my gosh, she's amazing in that.
Yes,
but she is phoning it in for the 2 Thor movies she was in.
Oh, I've got another. Actually, I think this is probably the strongest Huffle actually in this lineup. Mm-hmm. Phil Coulson.
Oh, okay. I do remember who he is. I think. Wait, who is he?
He is the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who sort of recurs for a little bit and then he dies in the Avengers.
Yeah,
spoiler warning for an 8-year-old movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I know who he is. I never got into the S.H.I.E.L.D. show. So yeah.
6-year-old movie. Well, I mean, if you're going to take the show into account, he is a Huffle who kind of goes dark over time. But like, I feel like his natural state is very much I'm here to support everybody. Mm-hmm. And I mean,
I need to watch the Avengers.
Just watching him fanboy over Captain America. Yeah.
I would be like the only person that didn't. I'd be like, hey, Steve, I'm going to go talk with Tony now. And then fangirl over Bruce Banner. Oh, Mark.
You and Tony could go snark in the corner about what a square Steve is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. We would have fun. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so rounding out the S.H.I.E.L.D. folks from the Avengers, Hawkeye. He's actually a tougher call, I think, especially, here's what I would say. I would say go ahead and take into account the later films because he hasn't really changed as a character.
Mm-hmm. I like him, but I never really get a full sense of his character. Like, it's not that I think maybe he's a little underdeveloped. I just am like...
I don't think he's underdeveloped. What I think and this is actually one of the things I like about him, especially as we found out in the second Avengers movie, he plays things incredibly close to the vest. And we sort of realize that when we see him like on a farm with a wife and 2 kids, and like you never would have called that about this guy because he just plays everything so close to the vest. Which is kind of a Slytherin trait, but I'm not sure he really is though, like on the whole.
Let me think.
So like I don't think he's a Gryffindor because he needs to be too flexible to be working espionage.
Okay, maybe he's Huffle, I guess.
Like he could be. Yeah. I could buy that from him.
He's not really he's not sly enough to be Slytherin.
No. He's
not ambitious enough, really.
That's also true. He's actually, you get the sense, especially when you see the family on his farm, that he is actually quite content with the simpler things when he has the chance to have them. So I had Red Skull down here, but I think, well, actually, you know what? I still want to talk about him. Because I think Red Skull, if I were to peg him, is a...
Gryffindor gone bad?
No, I was going to say Ravenclaw gone bad.
Ooh, Ravenclaw gone bad.
Because he's very into
He's not really Slytherin-y. You're right.
He's not.
He's like a darker version of one of the other houses.
I want to say Ravenclaw with him, and while I don't think the film quite did it as hard as I want, he does have some scary principles, but largely he wants to he's into the science. He's into the development. He's into the what weapons can I make? What can I learn from this cosmic cube? And because he's a little bit of a, to make a real world comparison, he's a little bit of a Dr. Mengele type. And like if you want a real world absolute worst version of a Ravenclaw, that would probably do.
Yeah, we're scary when we're evil. We're really scary because we're really smart and we're real powerful. There are definitely evil Ravenclaws in other franchises.
Yes.
Like Divergent, for the first 2 books before it really went off the rails, that series, the main villain is an evil Ravenclaw. So that whole house that whole group goes evil.
I feel like as much, speaking in general, I feel like as much as a lot of people, not altogether unfairly, tend to assume that Slytherins or that villains are probably Slytherins. I think it depends on the type of villain. If you're dealing with a self-serving villain, yes, odds are they're probably a Slytherin. If you're dealing with they are doing horrible things because they don't care about the human toll, you're probably dealing with a Ravenclaw.
Yeah,
villain.
Diabolical genius.
And then every now and then you get the true believer villain who's doing horrible things, knows it's a horrible thing, but believes in the cause so strongly. And I feel like that's your Gryffindor villain. And those are pretty uncommon, but they are out there.
And then you get your wreaking havoc drunk Hufflepuffs.
Who just smash.
I think a Hufflepuff gone evil would be pretty terrifying, though, because they would be so sweet and like they could definitely fool you. I don't know. I feel like there would have to be some kind of catalyst that turns them, though.
Yeah.
Because they seem the least likely to go dark. But
I wish
when they go dark, oh man.
I wish I could remember. Oh, who the heck they said? There was some commenter when I did my video about, being Slytherin in general. Somebody made a comment about, this character is like Hufflepuff gone bad, and it was a really good example. I wish I could remember what the heck it was now.
Whoever you were commented again.
Yes, please.
Daniel cannot remember, and I did not read that comment.
Okay, I think we'll wrap it up there. I'm gonna do a quick tally, I think, of how many we've got.
Oh, okay. Wait, what about? When did now I can't think of his name because again the phase 1 and when you said Hawkeye I was actually thinking of this character because of the wings.
Falcon?
When did Falcon
does not show up until phase 2 because he's Winter Soldier. Is where he shows up.
Okay, never mind. We'll get to him in the next one. Yay.
Okay,
along with a lot of other.
1, 2.
Do we get into Guardians of the Galaxy for phase 2?
Yes.
Yes.
That'll be an interesting conversation.
Oh my gosh, they're so much fun. I love that motley crew. Okay, I'll hold off though.
Okay, so here's what we've got. We have the fewest Slytherins, largely because we kind of skipped a lot of the villains. So like if I had put them down, characters like say Justin Hammer, Obadiah Stane, they probably would have been Slytherins, but they're also not very interesting as characters, and I also expect you don't remember them at all.
I would have put Jane Foster on the not very interesting list. I'm really hating on her tonight. Sorry, Jane Foster fans.
Little bit. We've got 4 Slytherins, 4 Ravenclaws. To my surprise, 5 Hufflepuffs.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And to not my surprise, 6 Gryffindors.
Yeah, well, it's pretty heavy, Gryffindor.
But, again,
Wait till we get to the Guardians of the Galaxy and throw everything amok with that.
Oh, boy, that's going to be
We're going to rack up some Slytherins with that one.
That's going to be an interesting one to sort out. And like I said, this was by no means comprehensive. There were plenty of characters that we skipped, didn't even forget, like willfully skipped, plus ones we just flat out would have forgotten. So I would love to hear other people's thoughts on this about the ones that
we skipped you disagree with?
Yes, the ones that we sorted, your thoughts on that. The ones we skipped, because there's plenty of them. So by all means, have at it. And this was fun.
Yeah, it was. Thanks.
We'll probably do this again, but for right now, we'll leave it at that, folks. So whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. A whole bunch of stuff you can do, because there's buttons and there's links, including one to the Patreon, which you want to check it out. I'd appreciate it. If you don't sweat it, because at the end of the day, you're the council. I just run the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned. You're learning my sign off. I love it.
Uh-huh.